Hey, what's up? It's David Duford at davidduford.com, where we help insurance agents like you become top producing insurance professionals. In today's video, we are continuing the series of training videos that introduce you to different kinds of insurance markets and sales systems, and more or less demonstrates to you the kind of opportunities that are out there to specialize in a niche and then take action and execute on a sales and marketing plan to put you in front of highly qualified prospects to develop a clientele of which you can continue to sell products to and help improve your clients' insurance lives. So this one is coming from a book that I read about a week or two ago. Very recommend that you pick this up. This is by Mr. Mehdi. Everything is Possible. His other book is called Nothing is Impossible. But this book was great, just to get a high-level image of somebody who has been a major producer and of major success in this business. At this recording, Mr. Mehdi is 96. He works at MetLife, has all his career, and deferred a $700,000 a year pension to continue selling. This dude still sells at 96. It's crazy. One of the things he talked about in this book is what's called the $1 Million Baby Program. And I thought it was just a great idea to get in front of prospects. We know this is a great market. I'll explain why in a minute. But I also want to reference a friend in the business named David Kinder. He runs a YouTube channel as well. I'll link it in the description below. Make sure you subscribe to it. David does a lot of classic insurance training videos, conference calls. He does some training himself. If you're just looking for motivational videos or instructional videos, this is really good, especially towards the business market. So I got with David on this and got some notes here on this concept. I'm going to explain the concept to you, as Mr. Mehdi put it, and then tell you how, in my mind, it would make a great way to have it as a lead generation system and would give you all sorts of opportunity to sell other products. And I'm going to lean on David's knowledge of the business market to explain kind of some considerations you've got to make in order to make this work functionally. So the $1 Million Baby Program is fairly simple. You approach grandparents and give them the opportunity to insure their newborns or their children. And the idea that Mr. Mehdi uses, he uses a limited pay whole life product, sells to the newborn, and at a certain percentage a year, or at a certain dollar amount annual payments for, I believe it was 10 years. And then the concept was, if you leave this thing alone, by the time the kid turns 65, you're going to have in excess of $1 million in cash value, as well as a ever-increasing amount of whole life insurance protection that, again, is paid up. And it was stated in the book, it was around a $3,500, $3,200 annual premium. And so in 65 years of this life, you can literally have a retirement plan set up for the child, as well as a way to lean on cash values to come out of it. And it just makes a great legacy that you leave behind to the grandkids that you love. And I love this idea because, first of all, we know it's something that a lot of grandparents are really interested in doing. A lot of grandparents are vested in the life of their grandkids. A lot of the times for many grandparents, it's better to have grandparents or grandkids than kids. And a lot of grandparents now are baby boomers. Most of the wealth is situated in those people right now. And they're looking for ways to leave a legacy behind to those that they love. And this is a great example of doing so. And we see on a minor extent, Gerber Life doing the same thing, although they do it a little differently. They make huge efforts to market towards parents and grandparents, and how setting up a whole life insurance plan is essentially setting up a legacy to assist the people that they love in their life. So we know that on a big level, a big player is doing this on a mass marketing level. So that means there's definitely some interest. Otherwise, Gerber wouldn't be mailing out millions upon millions of advertising on an annual basis or on a monthly basis, as well as supporting it with commercials that are appeal to baby boomers. So that's a good sign that this is a really good market. The question becomes, well, how does the product work? How do you market to this group? And how can you turn this into something that is successful? And what would you lead with? Where would you go from this product? And so forth. So the first thing is, I think you could approach this market very similar to the way that most markets are done, with direct mail. You could probably also market Facebook too. People 55 and older, that make, lower middle class income and above would probably make fantastic markets, although I think this particular product would probably be a little bit higher in income if you're looking for, a maximum funded type of $1 million coverage for the grandparent or for the grandkid. And you would just generate leads just the same old way you always would. Send a postcard, send this back for more information, put a Facebook ad out there. Hey, here's what we can do, demonstrate it. Put your information in if you'd like to follow up with a pamphlet on how this works in more detail. And just take that information and set appointments with people. You'll get all sorts of interest in a product that you can demonstrate in some basic language on how it would work. So, and the great thing is this introduces you to a middle-class senior market that has more problems than just how do I leave a legacy behind. They're going to have concerns about health insurance, getting them Medicare supplement coverage. They may even have estate issues if they have enough money. They may have annuity questions, safe money retirement. There's going to be annuity sales opportunities, life opportunities as well. So I look at this really as an entry point into a more lucrative market, one in which that you could get all sorts of business from and market in a way that, as far as I know, not many people are doing, because most people just see this Gerber plan, and it's just one of many ways you can construct a cool little plan that'll be a super benefit to grandparents, grandkids. So I want to bring in David here in his notes here and kind of mention some considerations. I'm leaning on David here for the technical aspects because there are some things you have to be concerned of about what products would you use, what do you need to have in place in order to make this work. So David says here in the notes, he says, first of all, he loves the idea. It's a great sales idea. He would look at it as an upsell or cross-sell as something to lead with. I disagree with him there. I think this is a great entry pattern. And then you can do a fact finder after demonstrating this to get more information from the grandparents to sell them other stuff. So this is just a really interesting, compelling offer to just get in the door. Now, you can definitely sell a lot of this, but I think it's just a great way to start conversation about life insurance to people that probably are harder to target. Some considerations David mentions. One, you'll want a policy that's geared for cash value growth. That's either going to be a dividend-paying whole life plan, usually from a mutual company or an IUL, which, again, index universal life plans, all of these are designed to develop cash value growth to accomplish the longer-term goal of a significant cash value for the grandkid. Mr. Mehdi uses a limited pay whole life plan. The actual rate class is a smoker rate, but this is an industry standard. Again, this is just what happens when you insure kids with this kind of plan. They just assign a smoker rate, even though they're not a smoker. Generally, no paramed underwriting required on children. So this is one thing that always appealed to me is you get out of the paramedical aspect of underwriting. Medical records would be pulled, but this is non-med essentially. So you don't have to do an examination, blood withdrawal, and add weeks or months onto the underwriting process. You can get approvals a lot faster. So that's always really neat as well. Number 6, grandparents of grandchildren will need authorization from parents on the grandchildren. So they'll need some sort of approval from the parents. So there's going to be that step as well. There's always insurance riders, like guaranteed insurability options that would allow one to either increase their face amount at given ages or purchase new policies for that amount. I would highly recommend this on a policy for children. Protecting insurability is a good idea. So you have the option to expand the coverage as adding on the riders, which is great. What happens if the kid develops type 1 diabetes, has some child-borne cancer issues? There's all sorts of good benefits with that. If one normally gets disability waiver of premium on their policy, they can usually select payer disability waiver of premium for policies on children. So the plan can continue even if the payer becomes disabled. How cool is that? So if something happened to the payer and they hit disability, well, they still have the plan, even though the insured is not the payer. Pretty cool. This is David's opinion here. He doesn't like the idea of using these as college savings tools. Life insurance has a unique ability to grow generally with uninterrupted compound interest, and its true value shows up far later than in the first 10 years. Totally agree. Plus, the asset won't count against a child or parent when applying for college financial aid or FAFSA. But these policies are typically too small to make much of a difference when it comes to college planning. A whole other topic generally. I agree. I don't think that this is something that would be pitched well as a college planning tool. I would be pitching the longer term applications after 20, 30 plus years, and even turning it into some retirement plan. Again, spanning and connecting to how a grandparent can make a dramatic change in the life of their grandkid with a nominal amount of money put into the policy, and that can have far-reaching effects over multiple generations. But I wouldn't necessarily target the college funding thing. I think that's going to be shortchanged. Now, I will say this: you also need, in most cases, I believe you need to have coverage, some sort of comparable coverage on the parent. In some circumstances, it may be required on the grandparent. I'm sure David will watch this and clarify for you guys that are wondering. Meaning, what if you take out $1 million on a kid, the insurance company's going to want to know, okay, well, they don't want it to be funny business, I guess we can say in so many words. But that might lead to an opportunity for insurance sales for you to sell on somebody else, right? So there's a couple ways to look at this. I think this is a great plan just from the strategy of getting into a lucrative market through a paid lead generation source. A lot of these people are harder to reach. You can't cold call them as often. They're swamped with annuity prospects. They don't pay attention to the seminar stuff as much anymore. But this is something that stands out from the mix. If you can show them in an advertisement the kind of help that you can help on a illustrated basis, you can just totally impress a whole lot of grandparents that love their grandkids and want to set them up for a lifetime of help and support in a dramatic way. And it will get you a lot of appointments. I would imagine get you a lot of leads. And most importantly, it'll get you a lot of presentations to talk about other things if you use a fact finder approach as far as Medicare, retirement planning like annuities, life policies on the grandparents, even the parents. So highly recommend this. I love this. I think it works great. As long as you can work some of the technical details out here, I think it's a great plan. I do hope you enjoyed this series where I talk about different insurance sales and marketing systems that you can utilize. I'm trying to think up of unique approaches to this business, especially this is geared towards those agents that are looking for a way to get into the insurance business, because as in all businesses, niche businesses rule. And in the insurance business, the key thing is to find a product or a market and really just go all at it, all out. And in many times, that leads you to so many other opportunities over time. But in many cases, the program on its own can be very profitable, very fun to do, and scalable as well. My name is David Duford at davidduford.com, where I help insurance agents like you become top producers. Notice my 2 books here at the back. If you haven't purchased them, you can find them on Amazon or buy my ebooks. They're called The Interviews of Top Producing Insurance Agents, as well as The Official Guide to Selling Final Expense Insurance. I also recruit agents. So if you're interested in selling insurance and you're looking for an agency to partner with, that's where I come in. I help mentor and train agents to become successful at programs such as Final Expense, selling annuities, Medicare supplements, and mortgage protection, amongst other programs. We just help you find a program that fits your goals, fits your budget, fits what you want to accomplish on your time, and then I work with you hand in hand to achieve those said goals. So if you'd like more information on that, go to my website, davidduford.com/contact. Send me a message, and I'll send you some information on how that all works. Last but not least, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and feel free to leave a comment if I can help you with anything in particular. My name is David Duford. Thank you. Take care.